What's the most hurtful thing you've overheard about yourself by accident? My wife had a falling out with some friends of mine that she met through me. We had known them a long time, but I had known them for much longer. I was upset with her one night because they were always asking why she never came around anymore, but she absolutely refused to see them. I always thought it was because of this little side business project they went into together that didn't work out. So I'm driving my wife somewhere and I just start getting upset with her that she won't make up with them and move past it like they did, and it sucks that she never comes with when I go over there. So she finally broke and told me the truth. Every time she went over there without me, they would talk shit about me, putting down my personality, my humor, and much more. I guess they thought she would be okay with it, like a joking haha my husband can be such a insert something right. But she wasn't okay with it. She's not a confrontational person, so she never really spoke up, but she was disgusted by the way they spoke about me behind my back and refused to have anything to do with them. She had been letting me think it was all her fault and she took it because she knew the truth would hurt my feelings. And it did. Edit. My wife was not manipulating me. She's not a manipulative person and she's certainly not the type to try and control who I do and do not see. I know these people and I know they're capable of this, even though they're otherwise generally good people with faults. Everyone has faults. Irks me a bit that there are so many cynics out there. Have a good holiday, regardless. Went out to a bar with some friends for a birthday party for my ex-girlfriend. She really messed me up when she left me, like really bad, but I was trying to be nice since she invited me, so I figured I'd go out and be there for a drink or two. So, a mutual friend who had been broken up with a few days before and was there, so as I made the rounds I talked to her and tried to do whatever I could to let her know it would be okay. I'm no therapist, but I did my best, yeah no. I knew what a bad breakup felt like, as I was also going through one, so I tried to help. Anyways, after I left the table I overheard her talking to my ex at the bar about me trying to give her advice and she said, well nobody has ever loved him so what does he know about any of this? And they started laughing. Don't think they know I heard, but I grabbed my coat immediately and took a long walk home. I don't need people like that in my life. Haven't willingly seen either of them since. I was copied into an email conversation where about 10 messages earlier one of my employees had described me as an idiot and suggested to the recipients that they didn't get me involved in the situation they were discussing. I'd always thought we got on well, and it knocked my confidence. Edit. Thanks for all the replies and messages. Some of you are really nice. I've got much thicker skin now, but this happened many years ago when I was quite new to management. I eventually talked with the lady who sent the email and she was extremely embarrassed and apologetic. Then when we talked more it came out that one of her colleagues was spreading shit about me and she hadn't questioned what was being said. It took months to get rid of the real problem causer. This wasn't in the USA. It's difficult to fire people where I am, and the real confidence crusher was knowing that he was poisoning the well that whole time. Things were much better once he was gone. I had just moved into my dorm for my second year of college. My roommate was my best friend since 9th grade. My stuff hadn't arrived yet, and it was my time to register, so I asked him if I could use his computer. He said sure. I sat down, and he had AIM open to a conversation with another friend of ours. I didn't scroll up, but from what was just visible on screen, they were talking about how weird I was and how awful it would be rooming with me. I closed it so he wouldn't realize later I'd seen it, registered, and left. We still lived together that year, but we didn't hang out at all. We just cohabited. I never asked him to hang out as friends. He never asked me. Move out day that year was the last time we spoke. That was over 10 years ago. We chatted every day for 6 years, then haven't spoken since. I still don't know if I did or said something to flip how he felt about me, or if he never really liked me to begin with. The possibility of the latter really fucks up your future friendships. Hell, the former does too, knowing apparently you're capable of unknowingly saying or doing something to throw away a 5-year friendship. Overheard someone saying they didn't want to work with me. I don't know why, considering I barely knew them. It definitely hurt though. I've had this happen at my work as well. Plus people saying I'm a fuck up. I've only fucked up things that everyone else has admitted to also fucking up before. I'm under the impression all my coworkers are just dicks because I try to keep to myself, do my work and go home. They always talk shit about the cars I buy and bring to work too. I don't understand why. It's none of their business what I do in my free time. I buy and sell cars. I have new to me cars every other week. They tell me I'm an idiot for buying them, but I'm just doing the maintenance and cleaning them up to sell them for a profit and maybe make someone happy and sell them their dream car. When my oldest sister died, my older sister was crying to my mother about how she felt alone. My mother was trying to reassure her and said, "You still have Vamped Vixen though." But my sister said, "Who cares about her? I want oldest sister back." I kinda get it, but this was around the same time my mother told me to my face that it should have been me who died instead because I don't have a husband or kids like my oldest sister did. It seemed like absolutely no one wanted me in my family and they all wished I could have switched places with the one we lost. People wonder why I'm depressed now. Edit. Wow, this blew up. Just wanted to add to everyone telling me not to speak to my mother anymore. Well, joke's on her. She died about a decade ago. My oldest sister died in 2008. My father in 2010. My mother in 2012. All of alcoholism. I'm just a bachelor orphan with no family now. Well, I have my older sister, but we are pretty estranged after her coke habit and money stealing days, which is good and also bad, especially on Christmas. My mother never apologized to me and ended up getting even more abusive as time wore on. I eventually moved out of the house and went to live with an abusive boyfriend. Since 5 years ago though, I've moved down south, and after many trials and tribulations, many of them, I now have my own apartment and 2 beautiful cats. I'm completely alone other than that though, which is even more depressing, but waking up to see my inbox explode and the gold/silver and everyone wishing me well is really helping me to get through Christmas Day, the most depressing day of the year for me. Love to you all. I went to school with a black eye and busted nose from my dear old dad. Child services was called to do a home check. My dad and mom told the worker I'd done it to myself and I was suicidal and that I'd written in my diary that I wanted to kill my little brother. I didn't even have a diary and of all the people I was close to, my little brother was #1. It got me a black eye and an involuntary stay in a locked ward. I bailed as soon as possible. This one really breaks my heart. I hope you and your little brother are doing well today. Yeah, he was so little he doesn't really remember those times. Well, he was a younger toddler then. Growing up I fought and begged for him to never see that man after he took off, but 13 years old boys know it all. I'll never forget the day he phoned me saying I was right about dad all those years. I just said I know. My best friend's story, not mine, but figured it's worth sharing. We'll call her Carrie. She was born super premature, but she ended up completely fine. Like you would never know, unless you saw the pictures of when she was born. Anyways, when she was around 8, she was at the top of the stairs, head peeking through the banister, secretly listening to her parents argue downstairs about how her dad was too hard on her brother for his grades. Her mom says, "Well, why aren't you that hard on Carrie? She doesn't get straight A's either." And her dad responds, "Carrie was born premature. She's probably retarded." At my first internship, I overheard one of my supervisors ask the others if I was genuinely mentally handicapped. That hurt. Edit. Yes, she 100% meant what she said, but not in a compassionate way. She not only insulted me, but insulted the undergrad program I came from for sending her someone so incompetent. Nothing I did or didn't do justified her behavior. For example, she'd ask my opinion, then laugh in my face when I gave it. Or tell me a meeting was in one room when it was in another, and snap at me for not being in the right place. That was 10 years ago. Now I have a few degrees, and I'm happily employed in the same field at a company that values me. While not a mean comment, this comment killed me. I have epilepsy and I overheard my parents and neurologist talking about some of the effects if my seizures continued, which were basically becoming dependent for everything. short and long-term severe memory loss, and my IQ dropping a lot. It really hurt hearing that in a few years I would have gone from honors classes to special edition. Thankfully my seizures have stopped, and the only lasting side effect is some memory loss, but man, that sent me spiraling for a long time.